So I went to Park City and Salt Lake City, Utah, two different trips. So this is going to be a mashup of when I went in late October and I stayed at the Waldorf Astoria, I think that's the name of it. I don't know, it's a 5-star hotel, but there wasn't enough snow, so I didn't get to go skiing or snowboarding. But here's my experience in the Park City area, and then I went to Salt Lake City a few weeks ago, and it was very cold, but the downtown was really pretty with all the Christmas lights and a bunch of other festivities. So here's my experience in the, I guess, Salt Lake City, Park City metropolitan area. Enjoy, and yes, I did dye my hair, and I will be having a review video on the color in my next video. So here's my trip when I first went to Park City, and this was going through the Provo area before splitting off to the side of Park City. So I have this footage just kind of sped up, but there was a pretty waterfall, and the drive is very scenic and nice during the fall/autumn time. So I actually went to Park City in October, but then I went to Salt Lake City later on in November. And so this whole Park City trip I went to, I never even got to see Salt Lake City, even though they're pretty much like in the same area. So you can see how beautiful the sunset is with the mountains and the lakes. Obviously not too much snow. Me being mostly in Arizona or the south, I don't see snow that much, so that was obviously very impressive. The snow that was on top of the mountains that was slightly beginning to form. And there was a nice Tesla there. But here is the hotel that I stayed at. The driving in, it's a 5-star hotel, and it's valet only. So there is no self-park, but it's whatever. But they also charge you $30 a night for parking, and then you got a tip on top of the valet, so it's kind of ridiculous. But here's the view from the front of the hotel. You can see a lot of construction and building going on, but it was very nice. Obviously pretty views, cold weather, which this time of Arizona was pretty hot, so I actually got to wear my winter clothes. And there's a fireplace inside where people can lounge and hang out in the mountains. And apparently they have free s'mores every night for like 2 hours, but I totally forgot about that, so I missed out on some s'mores, which kind of sucked. But here's just the walk down the hallways. For the price, I don't know if I'd say it's worth it, but here's the hotel room. It did have a working fireplace inside the room itself, which was pretty nice and keeps you warm when it's winter. But here is our balcony. The balcony view was pretty nice, and the working fireplace. So not fake, just switch it on and it turns on. But again, here's the fireplace and the lobby, and then this is I think the next day maybe. There was a pool. I think it was slightly heated, but nobody was swimming, and I just didn't really feel like swimming, and it was completely empty. But I mean, it was pretty, and there were multiple hot tubs around too, but again, nobody was even out there, and I just didn't really feel like going into it and dealing with it. But then, you know, here's the waterfall again, leaving Park City. Park City had a lot of good food, and also to my skater viewers, Park City has one of the best skate parks that I've probably been to, and it's freaking huge, so I would definitely recommend that. But here's my trip, and here's El Pollo Loco. This was the Salt Lake section, so we got Salt Lake City trip coming in right here in November, so more snow is starting to form. And here is the Great Salt Lake. It kind of had a weird stinky smell to it, and there's like haze and fog over it and glassy kind of texture to it. and then all of these plants growing up. It was very pretty and very interesting. I didn't expect that because I had never been to the Great Salt Lake, but I would definitely recommend going at least once. Obviously, it's very, very big and you can see it from a satellite, but just the whole like texture of the water, if that makes sense, and then the haze and the fog was like really cool. I wish it wasn't as cloudy, so the sunset would have like actually shown better. But yeah, apparently the salt in the water during certain hours when the water is very still, it creates like a perfect reflection, like a glass mirror, and you can get some weird, crazy, pretty double image photography. But yeah, I definitely need to take another trip and go to Salt Lake. One of the islands across is called Antelope Island. I think that's what it's called, and they have a bunch of wildlife that you can see there. But this wasn't actually even sunset. This was just a very cloudy day, and so the sunlight was just coming through the horizon, and so it created this like false sunset. But here was the real sunset later on, because we had some car issues, and this was in Pokemon Go, and Farfetch'd was being released. And there was a ton of Pokestops everywhere. But there's the capital up there. The Utes, Native American tribe, have a big presence in Salt Lake apparently. But it would have been great for Christmas shopping, but our goal was to go to Cheesecake Factory. And the wait was too long, so we had to sit outside in the freezing cold. But it was worth it. The heat lamp wasn't really working. But this was the view from Cheesecake Factory when I was just sitting out on the little patio area that they have. A lot of people Christmas shopping, but most of the stores are closing because I think it was maybe a Sunday. Don't really remember. But yeah, Farfetch'd everywhere. And Pretty Lights got a filet mignon with their mashed potatoes. And mashed potatoes are actually like really, really good. Like Cheesecake Factory has some of the best mashed potatoes. But this guy was parking for, I guess, Cheesecake Factory, maybe, valet. So it was pretty nice. I'm not really into old cars, but that was actually a pretty decent vintage car right there. But more Pokemon stuff. And then I got the s'mores cheesecake, which was freaking amazing. And they actually roast and melt real marshmallows all over it. And give you graham crackers. So perfect when it was nice cold weather there in Salt Lake. Obviously, I'm like worshiping the food because it's so amazing. I think my check was like $60 just for dessert and a freaking steak. But here was walking around the shopping area, kind of downtown Salt Lake. Just a close-up photo of the car. And yeah, Tesla. This was another shopping area. So they had a nice Tesla on display, which is, you know, like the complete opposite of an old car. It's more of an all-electric future modern car. And I showed downtown Salt Lake. Only view I really got from my camera. And then leaving was interesting. Obviously got to see more mountains, and it was just crazy seeing a Zaxby's. Like Zaxby's in Salt Lake, which is only in the south, like it just kind of blew my mind. And then heading back to Page, Arizona. So here's the desert sunset. Obviously not Salt Lake, but still pretty with the purple sunset. And then as you guys know, at the end of most of my videos I show off all my DSLR footage. So here's video clips from my Canon T2i. Very interesting with the lake. Just kind of showing off what was going on. Had to climb down onto a rock to get a low angle view from the top of a ledge. But here's all the DSLR photos that should go by fast. So if you're watching in maximum quality on YouTube, these images should be a lot prettier. I mean, obviously, if you find, oh, I didn't rotate that photo, whatever, but Just interesting exposure settings and trying to get some pictures of the birds. But my next video, like I said at the beginning, will be on the hair dye that I got, which is called Black Cherry, and a little quick mini review will go by and more of an explanation of why I did it. So subscribe, and I'll also have a video of Antelope Canyon coming up soon after the hair dye video. So stay tuned and subscribe. Thank you.